Good evening, everybody. My name's 12 Gauge. Welcome to my channel. I hope you guys had an awesome week. I hope that everything was well with you, health wise, financial wise, and everything else in between. I've been doing this reboot for a reason. Let me share a little back history with it that I wasn't allowed to share earlier. This reboot was probably, I don't know, about video number 3 as far as uploads or whatever. And it didn't get a lot of views, and there's a reason because your boy wasn't in the algorithm. He wasn't even known. There were some people that subscribed to my channel, but really nobody chatted. Nobody really took interest. And I met Jeff along the way. So, I thought, hey, I wonder what me and Jeff can create if we start talking about this case because I was involved with it. He was involved with it. We both had our thoughts about it. And we both, seemed to get along discussing certain aspects of the case. Unlike a lot of people who I tried to talk about the case, they wanted to instantly take over or they wanted to show their dominance. It was just meant to always be nothing more than a discussion. And to this day, I hope that what comes across as just a discussion. So I wanted to clear that up. And if you enjoyed the first part, here comes the second part. I hope you enjoy it just the same. We're actually going into the house in this one, and I know that I put that in the first part of the title, but this video, if you understand, is 4 hours long. So there's no way that I could have done 4 hours earlier and even gotten hardly any kind of where we need to be. So that's why I came back to do this portion. And as you can see at the bottom, it's still a long ways away from finishing up. So I hope you enjoy it. Here we go.
And they attack your face with basically a hammer. Um, and then, if, like you said, if you're slicing certain crucial parts, and then if Kaylee tried to get away and jump onto the bed, and her arm doesn't work, and she just falls over, and but it does seem like where she was found, I imagine, is she trying to scooch back, like to get away, and that's where.
Probably so. Probably so.
So,
I mean,
anyways,
because it is human nature, and most girls do that out of I don't know where they learned that, but they're scooting back and they're kicking at you with their feet
right,
to
right.
keep you at a distance. I mean, most girls that I've ever seen fight or, that I've been play fighting with or whatever, they instantly go into that crab type,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah. And then they kick you in the face or something to get you
Yeah, I
back.
mean their legs are very strong, so that could very well have been.
But
Yeah, you're on.
I think that you've got the. Well, let me tell. I don't like to show any video of myself holding this knife because I'm sure that there are haters that would love to use the video.
Of
So, but the
course.
sheath itself. So if you've got the knife in one hand and you pulled it out of the sheath, and people say, why would he take a sheath in there? It's like, brother, this thing, I ran it across my edge of my arm because a friend on a live stream said, you ought to try, just see how sharp it is. I was like, whoa, it just shaved off all my hair in this little
Yeah,
pack with one little slide. So you don't want that. You don't want to be walking around without this until it's ready to use. It's like turning the safety off on a weapon. When you're intending to use it.
yeah. My uncle had one, and we used to play around with it. And one day I was pissed off at my friend, and I slung it down, and it missed his toe by that much, right? So we got into it, and we're pushing each other around. Well, we barely touched it. I mean, we barely tapped the knife, and it broke the tip off. That's how. That's
Oh,
how. I mean, they are durable, but the tip breaks very easily.
hmm, hmm. Yeah, I hadn't thought. Yeah, it does, because it does come to a it's
Yeah,
it comes to
it breaks very easily.
very very thin
So I mean, anytime, any type of twisting or
sticker at the bottom.
yeah,
See, tapers off. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it broke so easily, and I was like, I was saddened by that because you know, with my uncles and he was deceased at that point, but you know, we played around with that knife all the time, sticking it in the floor, and you know, it was sharp as hell even then, you know, and
Right.
you're right, it was heavy. It was a heavy knife. It was you have it in your hand. I mean, you could literally knock somebody out using it almost like brass knuckles, you know what I mean? Hitting
Yeah.
somebody in the jaw and
I mean, it's definitely. I'm weighing it against like an iPhone. It's definitely heavier. It's about like two of these iPhones, I think, in weight. But
I mean, I've always wondered about those because they said her damage to her face was so deep that it you couldn't even really tell who it was. You know, they couldn't tell which
mm,
girl it was. The only way they knew is, you know, by doing the autopsy and stuff like that, because it was so disfigured. That's
mm.
how many times that she took whatever it was to the face.
Is that like knowing criminal minds? Would somebody that just appears all of a sudden and could wreck your whole plan and startles you, is that probably how you see them reacting to that? Do they just pounce on this person, or
Well, what I've read is most serial killers have an MO, meaning that I mean, obviously BK wasn't a serial killer, but you know, I'm sure he had a methodology of what he was planning to do. And beating somebody to a pulp and stabbing them, those go against two different
mm,
mentalities. You know what I mean? If you're going to beat somebody to death, then why stab them after that? You
right,
know, if I'm going to beat you to the pulp, why am I going to stab you 54 more times?
right?
That's overkill. That's why I'm saying in my studies, it usually says that those overkills are usually women, crimes of passion, as they say, you know. But I don't know. I mean, this case is so it's what we don't know that's gonna keeps us in suspense of what could be. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't follow that guideline of, well, this is the method of this type of person, this is the method of this type of person, because we don't know that side of BK. If we knew that side of BK, then we'd be like, yeah, it's him. It's him.
Right,
He used to beat his girlfriends and he used to, you know, he used to do this, he used to do that, you know.
right.
Then we'd really be certain. But I mean, based on what I've read and what I've studied, it usually doesn't go like that. You don't beat somebody up and then knife them to death.
Is it possible? Well, no, because we do know. I think they said that Kaylee was stabbed a bunch of times, right? I don't. I was thinking. I was thinking maybe that explained the where they said the differences in the wounds. I was thinking that maybe possible. Yeah, um, but I wonder if the whole notion of knocking them unconscious is to keep them quiet, because that's, I mean, you saw four cars parked in front of the house. You know that the neighborhood is rather quiet, and maybe his worst enemy would be screams or noise or something to alert. And so maybe it's just you go at the source of the mouth, the face,
Right.
to keep quiet. Um but anyway, so the rest of my theory, basically in my theory, I think I point it towards that each victim was one at a time, because I think that makes it more plausible to have done it just as one person, to do it in this short amount of time. And so anyway, that's the first two victims. When he goes downstairs, one, I think he may have tripped on that little step up into the living room. And I say that because I think when he's leaving, I think he's looking down at that step to not trip again, and maybe is part of the reason why I don't think he sees Dylan, because he's looking down there. And when you're looking down, you say, well, I don't think he was wearing glasses, but looking down,
Oh, of
the
course.
light hits the eyebrows very well, mask or hat or hood or whatever he's got on his head, you looking down. So, but I think in my scenario, I wonder if, they've just ordered DoorDash. And I've often said, if Xana is anything like my wife and we're about to eat something, she's like, go wash your hands. So I imagine that Ethan could have been in the bathroom washing his hands. Maybe, they've been drinking. I assume they were at a party. Maybe he's relieving himself, doing other things. He's in the bathroom, the door closed. And I think the door closed too, because he doesn't live there and he's in a house full of women, right? So it makes sense. I would think, just common courtesy, close the door. But I think if the killer came down at that point, could hear that people were there on that ground, on the second floor, went towards Xana's room. And if Xana is on TikTok, in my mind, I picture her, and I'm picturing the room with her back to the killer and the footsteps of the killer coming up behind Xana. Surely Xana probably thought, oh, that's Ethan coming back from the bathroom. So I imagine he comes up, same methodology. He uses the hammer end of the knife, knocks her and thud, she falls to the floor and is whimpering. This is consistent with what Dylan heard, right? And so she's partially knocked out. Maybe she is kind of knocked semi-unconscious, but she's on the floor. I picture face down. And then Ethan, or no, I mean, the killer, I think maybe hears, I don't know, toilet flush, maybe some sounds that tells him somebody's coming from the bathroom. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe I just watched too much Pulp Fiction with John Travolta coming out of the bathroom to meet Bruce Willis standing there. But I think the killer, if you look at the floor plan of that room, the killer could have backed into that corner where the closet is, and Ethan would not. Yeah, perfect. So if the killer backed into the corner to the right there, he could, yeah, see there. So that's the door to the hallway that's closed, but that's a closet right there with no door.
Right.
The killer could just back up right there. Xana is, laying there on the floor. I picture if Ethan came out and saw her lying on the floor, he may have thought like, oh man, we had too much to drink. Are you okay? And then I could just imagine him saying, it's okay, I'm going to help you. And he goes to help lift her up off the floor. And now he's kneeling down. He's got his back to the killer, who's kind of tucked back in that closet area there. And then same methodology, the hammer to the head, knocked unconscious. And then the other end of the weapon is used in a controlled fashion, where all the spray is going to go in the opposite direction of the killer. It's going to be.
You know what tricked me out? I'm going to cut you off right quick, really, because I'll forget this. This is the second floor bathroom. Look how huge this thing is. It looks like a laundry room for the.
Right.
See, this is the second floor bathroom next to Xana's room. And for the longest time, I thought this was a little bitty bathroom. One of those, like, there's a toilet, there's a sink there probably, and that's it.
Right.
But that thing is huge. I saw this the other day, and it looks like it has a sink, a washer and a dryer, and a shower. So this thing is huge. Like you said, what if he was in here and then stepped out and, confronted the killer? It says, this is where he was found. Interpretation of the affidavit. It says in ambiguous.
Right. Some people think it was, that he was in the bed and that it's his red stuff that's seen outside the house.
Yeah.
And I've heard this too, that he was there on the floor. Don't you think too, when you think about, because a lot of people say, oh, this whole crime scene was contaminated. They can't possibly know anything that happened because it's just totally contaminated. But the friend, was it Hunter that apparently found Ethan?
Right.
Don't you think if Hunter said, okay, everybody get out of here, this is, don't you think that everybody would have one? I don't know how many people that age really want to see this and
Right.
would want to get out, or would they think to themselves, I don't want my fingerprints or anything connected with any of this. I'm getting out of here. So part of me feels like, I just don't see, like, especially the third floor being contaminated. I just don't see anybody going up there to like
Right.
check it out, or like, hey, I mean, I know we live in the day of iPhones, and like you see a fight or somebody getting robbed or attacked, instead of helping them, you pull out your phone and take videos of them
Exactly.
nowadays.
But
But
look at this. Look at this, Jeff. How, like, as you're saying your theory, look how dark it is.
yeah,
And here's that step that you're talking about. How would you not trip on this son of a bitch, either going up or down it?
right,
And here's the door right here. So if you're in that adrenaline rush and you just finish them off, this is gonna you're gonna be like, oh shit. You might round this corner expecting not to see anything. And even though you may have seen this going this way, you forgot about it. So you round this way, you say, oh shit, maybe take a step a little bit, be like, oh, that's the light.
right,
Then you say, oh, I got to remember to step down. There's Dylan supposedly being in that room. Hopefully it was darker than that. But look at that shit.
right.
You're telling me that you're able to go through that maze right there. Let me turn the light on because I'm getting confused here. I mean, how did you not end up over here going, oh shit, I missed the doorway?
Right,
You
right.
get what I'm saying? It's like you're in a panic. I know I would be. I mean, I'm not trying to talk for BK, but wouldn't you be in a panic?
Right, right. Yeah,
You'd be
and I mean, I assume that good vibes light was putting out, um, a good amount of light to be able to see better than maybe what that dark photo shows. Like, the
yeah,
human eye is gonna always be better than camera, what a camera does, but, and I really do think that good vibes light is what was lighting his face for Dylan to see, but also at the same time blinding him from seeing much, because you're
yeah,
the, um his eyes would have been adjusted to that bright light, and the irises would have closed down in his eyes, whereas she's in the dark looking at a guy who's being lit, almost like it's like she's a photographer taking a photo of somebody with a nicely placed light
right,
specifically for their
exactly.
face. Um,
I'm kind of curious at what print. I mean, I know right here they got the left foot, but was it the left foot or the right foot latent print? Did
yeah, I
they
wonder
say in
that
the
too.
PCA? Did they
I don't,
say?
I don't think so. I think it just said, let me see. I think it just said footprint.
And look how close that footprint is to the door. Like, did he get there and be like, well, you know what? I don't have time. You're lucky I'm tired. I'm going to head on out.
Right.
Or I killed your ass too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder if, I mean, I know that's got to be just an, well, it says approximate there. So it's just a
Oh, of
guess
course.
as
Of
to where
course.
it would be, but, um, let's
And
see.
like the other day I told you about the stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then there's, I think, 9 going up. In the dark, you've never been in this house before. You're gonna round this corner because you're on a mission.
Right.
How the hell are you not gonna trip on a step? Are you gripping the wall? Walking, in my last video I said, is he barefoot? Does he have surgical booties on? Does he not have shoes on? Does he have um shit? Is he wearing those workout shoes that have the toes on them? And
Oh, was
they
it just like the with it kind of smooth on the bottom?
yeah, yeah,
And
they're webbed looking workout shoes.
yeah,
Well, anyways, is he wearing some of those? What's he wearing?
yeah,
Supposedly he was wearing some Vans. So if he was going up these steps, how did he not trip? At least on one of them. How
yeah,
did he not make that stomping noise that Maddie made going up these steps. Remember when she went up these steps?
Yeah, yeah.
She was stomping. How loud that shit was. How did she not wake up then? How did she not wake up him going up that and up these steps
Right, right.
and coming down? Okay. I know usually when I know the steps, I usually, try to get, if there was two of these, I'd balance and then jump off three of them or whatever. But how did he not trip coming down them?
And you said there's a different number going of the two flights. There's a different number of that first
Yeah, there's
flight and the
one,
second.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at the very top. And then we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 to that.
So there's an extra step. And this goes up. Here's Maddie's room right here. Kaylee's room's over here. And the bathroom. See, there's the bathroom. There's Kaylee's. And over here, it's Maddie's room.
Right, and so when you're going straight into Maddie's room, the first thing you're seeing is that desk, right? Then there was a desk that was. Oh wait, no, I got it mixed up. That's Maddie's room. But still, if you were Kaylee coming from Kaylee's room, you'd come in. Well, you might, as you round the corner and look into the room, if I imagine the killer is along the long side of the bed, doing what he's doing.
See, I had it mixed up. I didn't realize that Maddie had the bathroom. I thought this was Kaylee's bathroom. Kaylee doesn't have the bathroom. Maddie does. I didn't realize that until I started looking at this. And Maddie had a long desk right here with her boots in the window, remember?
Right.
Right here.
If you click on the little camera icon, does it actually show a picture of her with the desk? I think one of those might. No, let's see. That just shows the window. Maybe it's the other one. Well, there's a third.
Yeah, there's the desk right there.
Okay.
There's the
Actually,
window.
so it's. I think it's in the position that it's showing. Except
Yeah.
I think the picture, the one in the 3D animation is maybe a little wider
Yeah,
from the wall.
this desk right here.
Yeah.
So, as we were saying, like you were saying, he walks in. She's laying right here. This is where supposedly she lost her life. And, look how everything's so close together. I mean, I don't know how not clumsy you are, but I'm a clumsy person. Especially having all that adrenaline and stuff going on. I mean,
Right.
What
What are the little white arrows that are pointing down, especially the one over in the corner of the bed? Is that new? I don't remember seeing that.
Which one? This one?
Or the little up above that. That little, see the little white down? Oh, that's just to get a
Yeah,
view
you
from
can
there.
just stand right there. And
What
you
kind of
can
view does it give you when you click that arrow? I wonder if it gives you a sense of
see this gives you the
how small a
overhead.
room.
This gives you the
It is
overhead.
super small room.
Yes, it is. I mean, that bed is small.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If she's backing up right here, as they said she was, she may have been backing up to try to kick out to get to the door. You get what I'm saying? If he's right here going after her, maybe she's kicking at him to get to the door.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, they said that she landed on Maddie. She was on top of Maddie. Remember that?
Right. Right. But don't you think too, with regards to the knife sheath, um, if this room is as dark as that, the downstairs was that you were showing, if Kaylee caused him to drop that knife sheath, don't you think that he's not going to want to turn the light on in the room to try and find it? And he probably there's no telling where it went. It could have fallen between the bed and the wall. It could be under the bed. There's no time to be going after the knife sheath.
I mean,
At that point.
that could have been how it got knocked off of him. Maybe he had it in one hand, or maybe he stuck it in a pocket. She kicked it out. I mean, you never know.
Or maybe, maybe Ann Taylor. I always assume that when Ann Taylor said that the knife sheath was placed, I thought it was just to try and implicate or suggest that police had something to do with it, or somebody that was trying to frame the situation a certain way. But maybe is it possible that as he was doing what he started doing to Maddie, that he himself did just place it on the bed to do what he did, and then intended to just do what he did and then pick it right back up. But then Kaylee came in and the struggle happened right on top of where he had placed it, and it was
Exactly.
no longer there.
So here's the bathroom, and like we were discussing the other day, this is the wall that they had cut something out of right here. Right here. Remember in those pictures they had cut something out right here? I'd always thought maybe he ran out of this room, brushed up against there and got some blood on the wall, maybe something. Maybe he went to clean off a little bit.
Hmm.
I mean, because this could have happened very quickly and given him enough time to clean up a little.
And when you say hole in the wall when it was demolished, you're not talking about that. There was, I know, a dark black rectangle in the
No,
wall, not that one.
no, there's like an evidence photo and there's evidence tape right there, and they have cut some of the sheetrock out of it.
Hmm.
So we're back down to the kitchen area, and there's Dylan's room right here. Let me know if you're getting dizzy, and I'll back out of here.
When you hear me barf.
Yeah. I mean, she had a big room too, you know? And like you were saying the other day, or I said the other day, how come she didn't take pictures of him driving by? Or we don't know if she didn't or did not, or even a video of him driving by.
Well, and so in that, yeah, so this is Dylan's room, right? And so Dylan's
Yeah.
room is directly underneath Maddie's room. So any footsteps she would have heard right up above her and what was going on up there. And
Yeah. This is
if
the
she saw
wall.
him walk out the sliding glass door, assuming he went past her window, it seems like she would have seen that too, that he not only went out the sliding glass door, but then walked past her window. Now maybe she had her blinds closed though, so maybe she didn't see when he walked past. But my assumption is he went out the sliding glass door and then went to the left and then went to his car that was parked near the back of the house.
So, like right here, I remember look back on some of the earlier photos, Jeff and Leon. I don't know if you remember. Welcome to the chat. By the way, I see you. I see you typing. I appreciate your comments. Jeff and I both do. I remember right here in the investigation photos, they were doing a lot of picture taking. This is the window with the screen off of it.
Right.
They were doing a lot of picture taking here, and they were doing fingerprinting. So I don't know if they were doing that for a purpose or if that was just what it was. You know what I mean? Well, here's the slider right here. It says confirmed, intruder's entry exit point. Can you see that? It said the male walked toward the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. And this is where the Jack in the Box bag was found. The little plant was overturned. All those dishes were right here, those dirty dishes. Do you remember that?
The plant with the dirt spill.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had the ability to see photos from Derek Shook, the Fox News digital photographer,
Yeah.
because he was the one I believe shot the photo of the dirt, and but apparently the story behind the dirt was that the dirt, all his photos were taken during the investigation. So there was a photo where there was no dirt, and then there was a photo where there was dirt. So, which I think proves that it was the investigators that bumped, because what they were doing, I think, see, I might have this backwards, but the stuff that was on the coffee table got moved to the kitchen sink as they were, investigating or whatever, or vice versa, one or the other. I think
Okay.
I think that's correct that it went from the coffee table, because the thing is, you can see some of the same objects on the coffee table or at the kitchen sink. There's a Starbucks cup. There's some bottle of cleaning, like soap or something. You know what? I think I found the photo, if you want to see it, of the investigators looking in that window.
Hey, Leon, you want to come up and talk with Jeff and I? I mean, you
Come
don't
on
have
up,
to show
Leon.
you don't have to show your face. You just, give us, talk with us. Here's the link. Just click on it and come on up.
Is that one of the photos that you're talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See how they're very intensely looking at that. She had the flashlight and she's dusting for prints. They got the evidence tape right here. They've obviously dusted right here. See the,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
One of
sure.
this is a really good photo of the lock lever on the sliding glass door.
Yeah.
I was for a while there, I was certain that because this sliding glass door is very much like the one on my house, that whoever installed our sliding glass door installed it with the lock mechanism. It's a little claw that comes out. It
Hmm.
was this way. It was facing up. So
Oh,
what that
wow.
meant was when it was locked, all you had to do was grab the handle and lift the door like a couple inches and slide it right open. But I can tell because the fact that that lever lives down at the bottom portion of the handle there, then
Hmm.
it's installed correctly. Because when it's backwards, the little lever is up in the top portion of the handle. So that I believe is installed correctly. So that whole theory, I shot a whole bunch of video of my sliding glass door, me fixing the lock, me demonstrating how you lift it up, and then I started looking around and I thought, no, I think their lock was correct. So
So here's a question for all three of y'all. Leon, you're included, even though you don't want to come up. You're more than welcome. How do you think he got in there? Do you think that that slider was unlocked, or because they said that there was no forced entry. I remember that very clearly. They said there was no forced entry. So how could you get into that slider without busting the lock or lifting it up, like you said, Jeff?
right.
How could that be possible? Did he go in the window? Did he come out the slider by unlocking it? Maybe.
I really think the door was unlocked. Um, I think it's so easy to see too when it's unlocked. I wonder too if is it possible from the back parking lot with a pair of binoculars, can you see the position of this lever? Um,
Yeah.
you know, is that part of the going around the house a couple times? Did you go around the house a couple times and like early on and maybe one of the first or second passes, you realized it's unlocked right now, and then 10 minutes later, it's like it's still unlocked. It's like this thing that I've been thinking about doing. This, if I don't do it now, the opportunity was presented, I think. Thing is, though, I don't know if you can see that um, from the back parking lot, but who's to say he didn't kind of, when he came around past that Linda Lane camera, didn't go just park the car real quick, run down, take a look, and run right back. I mean,
Well,
you
that's
could
true. That's true.
You know, you
I
could
mean,
explain
also,
that, like if somebody saw you, you could say, "Oh, you know, I thought I dropped my key over here, you know, and sorry, that's why I'm over at this your neighbor's
yeah, I mean,
backyard."
exactly. I mean, because he also had probably 20 minutes during that time that he just parked up there, according to that Gray Hughes video, that he parked up there just at the top of the hill behind the Queen Road apartments. So he could have, like you said, he could have been watching that door, see if anybody locked it, waited for the light to go off, and boom, that was his cue to do what he did.
Right.
I mean, those ladies are intent on that window, so it makes me wonder what they found in that window.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if I had any other photos of that. The investigators. Um, I found this little trick on certain websites that have photos posted, that if you when you bring the photo up and you go to the URL that just shows the JPEG, if you remove all the text, it'll be JPEG and then a question mark and then a bunch of text
Right, right.
describing the size to shrink the photo down. Just remove the question mark and everything to the right and then hit return. Boom, you'll have the full high res photo. Here's
You
a good
know, Jeff, I have another question. I have tons of questions. I'm glad you're on panel tonight, and I'm glad, for the chatters that have been in the chat room. And if y'all want to pipe in on any of the answers or whatever, there's no wrong answers here. We are just discussing this. One of the questions that I've always had is, how did they get all the fingerprints, all the DNA down to just one? Because according to very early on reports, they had a party the night before of 150 people or more in that house.
Hmm.
There had to be people going in and out of that house constantly. How did you get all these people's DNA, fingerprints categorized, where you said, okay, well, these people are frequent. Here's one guy that's not a frequent flyer, and there's three others that we don't have a fucking clue. Excuse my language, but we
Right.
don't have a clue who these three are. So we're just going to go with this guy. I know it didn't happen like that, but I'm being sarcastic. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure you kind of like people that work in the medical field, and with an ambulance, you're going to triage, right? You're going to figure out which so with the law enforcement, I'm sure they're like, okay, well, like if it's information of possible DNA on the refrigerator door handle, and it's possible DNA on a knife sheath next to a stab victim, it's kind of obvious which one they're going to say, okay, this obviously takes priority over the refrigerator door handle. But yeah, I don't know how they go about. I mean, I don't. It'd be interesting. I'd love to hear. It's too bad that, if you could get a guest on that's an expert in this kind of stuff to just talk about how. Oh, here's another photo of. It's another angle of them looking in the
That's like the
window.
drone photo, right?
Yeah. This one is from the drone. I think you can see. I think the drone operators, if I remember right, is probably over, or maybe not. I think I'm thinking of another video.
I wonder how thorough they went through that dumpster or those two little trash cans. Like you said, he
Yeah.
may have popped. He may have popped one of those little trash cans going around that corner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the person who told me that was, I I don't know. I can't prove anything. I don't think they can prove anything either. But it is an interesting notion to think if those trash cans got clipped, because I think I mean, it's always my guess. He parked back here somewhere along the edge of the house, because the back side of that house, there's no windows, just like on this side. There's no windows on this side, except for the kitchen window a little bit. But
Yeah,
there's no windows, I don't think, at all on the other side of the house. So,
there's Dylan's window.
but I
No.
think isn't Dylan's window is still facing out the back. I don't think there's anything. Maybe you could pull up the 3D thing you were looking at again. We could look and see, because I'm pretty sure that she didn't have a window facing that way. Or we could find, I'm sure there's a picture of the house that just shows that whole side.
You know, one thing I was thinking too just now is maybe he was under the influence of something. He had to have been. Because most criminals that commit crime, they're not ever really sober. There's something going on with them. I mean, just think if he was on cocaine or meth or something that was a stimulant, and maybe that's why he stripped down and wasn't extremely cold. This is
Possible. I know. I've seen
speculating my ass off right now.
someone that was on crack, and what it does to the body. I mean, the eyeballs look like they're swollen, like they want to pop out of your
Yeah,
head.
crack is whack, bro. See, there's the window right there, and there's the staircase. So once you go, this would be the outside.
That faces not the street. It faces the parking lot in the back.
I thought this
That window.
faced Queen Road or King Road right here with all these cars along the side.
Now I'm pretty sure. Let me see if I can find a photo of the side of the house.
Let me walk out here and. Okay, now we're in the kitchen.
This is a perfect reason why they shouldn't have tore down the house, right? These are the
See,
kind of
like
questions that
her room faces parallel to that road. See that road's right there? So this is at a slant because there's the back. See, the road goes like this.
Well, that's the back. That's the back parking lot. Out that
Yeah,
little
this
window.
is the backyard. Here's the road right here, though. It's parallel. So that window is on this back wall. So with this window, that window. You get what I'm saying?
Let me find you a picture of the house, because I may be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, because my understanding of like the layout of this house has changed many times over the course of this.
Hey, I'm having a good time discussing this, man. It's going a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain this is parallel to the Queen Road. I'm not sure though. I could be wrong. I mean, not Queen Road, King Road. Leon says, no, that's the back. No window straight. It's next to Dylan's bedroom window. Let me see what you showed me.
Yeah, that I think is the same window they were dusting for fingerprints from, but just
See, so I would think that Dylan's window would be like right down here. Well, you can't see that.
yeah,
It
just
would be,
kind of to the right of that guy, right?
yeah, it would be to the right of that guy.
Which, if I'm correct, that is facing the back parking lot, not the road that cuts through. So it's kind of like it wouldn't be facing the Queen Road apartments, those long buildings. It would be facing 90 degrees.
Let me see if
towards
I
the
can
back.
do it. Let me see if I can find a side video or a side view here. They hardly ever get that view. That's weird. They never really get that side of the house. Do you have anything?
I should. I'm surprised. Oh wait, I think I was when I searched for the word drone. I should have
Because I don't think Bethany had a window on her side. She just had the one in the front.
Right. If my theory is correct, and I understand correct, that it's like the side of the house that faces Queen Road Apartments has no windows, and the very opposite side has no windows except for the little kitchen window above the sink.
Hold on a second. I'll go back to that.
Hey guys,
Because
welcome back to
Let's see what it is.
Read the chat, see what it says.
It might be. Let's see. Oh, Jeff's right. Well, there's a first. There's a first. I didn't pay Leon to say that either.
I got one. Hold on. I found one, guys. See, this is Dylan's window right here.
Is that your recording studio there?
Hold on. I'm confused. No, that's not mine. It's just a picture I enjoy. Do you see that? So under the balcony, so it looks like Maddie had that window too.
Right. So Maddie just has the one window there.
So she had the window in the back, but whose windows are these?
Wait, so that's Maddie's window that your mouse is on right this and then is the next window?
See, I thought this is the window everybody was dusting right here.
Right.
So this is Dylan's window.
And then the second window on the top level, I think is the hallway. I think there's a hallway window. I know there's the hallway window from the other side of the house.
Yeah. Yeah, because Bethany doesn't have anything. She just has that big old hill right there. So see, there's a window. There's Dylan. There's the living room. So that'd be Dylan's room right there. I don't know. If you get a better picture, we'll have to use it on the next live. That's the back of the house.
I found a picture of the dirt in the potted plant, but I'm also, once I find the coffee table shot, then I'll those two are.
Well, this is that little area where they took the picture. Remember that last picture they took together? They took it right here because here's the balcony that was over them. I'm confused because I guess this up here would be where the rest of the house is. I don't know. Maybe we can find a better picture. That'll be something we can talk about next time.
I should definitely have a picture of that. I really need to just take some time and try and organize all these photos.
Leon says, after she said that you were right, after you gifted her $50. She said, she said there's them shining light at the side of Dylan's window. Who's checking for blood? I'm thinking he parked there. That's it. Think he parked where camera is taking pic. There's 3 kitchen windows, well, 2 and a sliding door.
This picture right here, I think, shows pretty good that side of the house. Wait, let me not zoom in too much. But see, I don't think there's any windows on this side of the house at all.
So, you're right. You are so right. Because when you walk into her room, that window's on the back side. You're so right. But my point was this. So if she was looking through there and he parked up here, couldn't she have snapped some pictures of him coming down? I mean, she might have got him even running to the damn car. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, if she had her bedroom blinds open or was looking out the window, she surely, if he went that way, which I assume he did,
Yeah.
because I think, like, see where that parking space is behind on the left, so that where the snow is missing. Now I know this
Yeah.
is taken at that time, but
Right
that's
here.
like roughly there is where I imagine, he probably parked. Because I think you'd want to park your car with the front of the car facing the direction you want to get out and leave. You don't want to park in the back where you got to hit the reverse lights where they're bright white and they're lighting up the back parking lot.
See, I was under the impression he parked way up here and he went up the hill and got in the car and came back down. I didn't know if he parked that close. But it makes sense. It makes sense if he tried to park at the fucking front of the house, you know?
Yeah, that's
I don't-
interesting. If because didn't the PCA say he did a failed parking attempt or something at the front of the house?
Yes, yes. The PCA says he tried to park in front of the house.
Oh, here's an interesting photo to share with you. This is the lock, what used to be the lock on my sliding glass door, to show you. This is where my theory was headed. So I'm sorry, if when the claw is pointing downward, that you don't want it that way, because then
Okay.
you just lift the door straight up. It's
Oh, of course.
supposed to be hooking upward so that when you lift it, it's got nowhere to go. It's stuck on the lock. So
Man, those
yeah,
things are the worst inventions ever made.
yeah, that's not a very strong. Well, it's what's stronger now. Actually,
Yeah,
you know what's funny? When I fixed it, I was
yeah.
so proud of it. Everybody was like, "Can you stop talking about your door?" It's like, come on, I don't do a lot of home improvement, but it actually worked. And so my wife was about to go upstairs, and I said, "No, check it out." And I shook it really hard. Say, "See, look, this is an opening," and boom, it opened. It's like, oh man. So then I had to adjust. There's a little screw here at the bottom. I had to
Yeah,
adjust this little screw here to get it just right. So
that's usually what happens. Look how awesome I fixed this.
right,
The break
right.
the next day. Man, I really enjoyed it, Jeff. We got to do this again, man.
Oh, definitely, definitely. This has been great. I
I
really
mean, we're
appreciate it.
almost at the 3 hour mark. You realize that? Like,
Oh, wait, I
wow.
got one more for you.
All
This is
right.
the investigators looking at that well, you can see that lock. This is where my sleuthing on this whole subject even started, because I thought it kind of looks like there's no lock in there, but I really think it's in there. It's dark and the photograph renders it just black.
Yeah.
Although no, wait, now that I think about it, yeah, no, I think you can take that piece out without taking off the bigger handles. If I
But
remember.
usually those have like a screen also. They have like a double, like one of them's a screen and one of them's the sliding door. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Actually, it looks to me like they have no screen, because I have a screen on mine.
Yeah.
It looks like they've just got the two glass door pieces.
But no telling how old that sliding door is.
Well,
It
and
looks
it's
like
really interesting too, the stools that were placed there to kind of lock it, like simulating what you would do with
right.
the stick that most people put there to lock their door.
Were those stools placed there after, or were they there?
I've talked to some people that they believe it was the police that placed them there. This is this picture here I just show you just so that you keep it in mind for future conversations, because I think it's a great representation of that Linda Lane area. It's a great, like, from a drone, it
Oh
shows
yeah.
like this is where where the Linda Lane camera is, right here. There's the steps that the four people at 1227 go up. And this, I think when I was searching these pictures, it really hit me. I finally got it, that this is Linda Lane. This is a dead end right here.
Yeah.
That's where that car has to turn around and go the other direction. But this parking lot, obviously it goes all the way around the building. And
Yeah, I
this
thought
is,
this went out to the parking lot also. Obviously, it does that. See
yeah.
where that car is right there, and there's that wall, that bush.
Oh, this right here, this car here.
Yes, yes. I thought that was an open area where you could just go.
Right. Yeah, you can see there's a retaining wall type of thing here.
Because I always wondered how come he didn't come back behind Queen Road Apartments and go through that little area right there. But
Right. I
with
think
that,
the only thing you can do is like right here. So that fence is like right here. And
yeah,
then there's that little opening in the fence where, you can walk through this parking lot and come out into here and,
yeah, but you
go
can't
down
really
to the
drive.
dumpster
You
here.
can't really drive through there, so he had to go in front of the Queen Road Apartments.
And maybe we should be looking in the dumpster. Is this where the knife is? And the
Yeah. No, that's where the tunnel entries are over there toward the
yeah,
right
yeah.
side.
Yeah, you see this little sign here. It says you must be this tall to enter the tunnels. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's it.
I remember somebody made a video and it was right there by those steps. And they said, this is where the tunnel entries are right here. You just have to move this out of the way and you can get into the tunnels. I was like, man, that is just some crazy shit right there.
And this house back here, this house is blurred on Google Maps, and I think is because I'm guessing there's a camera here that captured him on.
Yeah, that's one of the first cameras they talked about that caught him on Walenta. And then there's another one that the clown, that channel.
Yeah, yeah.
he he captured his house down a little ways and it
Point.
has like four cameras on the porch.
Are
And
you
there's a
are you
ton-
talking about are you talking about this guy?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got a little coffee mug collection of see I got this one. Oh, and then this one too. She's a good friend of mine. This is it's a criming shame
Okay.
coffee mug. So when you get your coffee mug 12 gauge, I'm gonna buy one.
All right. I haven't even thought about merchandising, man. I'm happy I made it to 100 subs.
Yeah.
I'm 117, so
I'm hoping now. I'm not trying to take credit for anything because I don't have like this huge YouTube channel or anything. But character analysis. You watch her videos. I think she does
yes,
great work.
yes, yes,
I
I
I
do.
did kind of what I did with you with a community post. I said, you all check her out. Her videos are great. At that time, she had like 800 subscribers, and now she's like, I don't know, probably 7,000 or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying the slow pace of it. Like I said, I'm doing this just to learn along the way, help people along the way in other areas because I haven't made any substance abuse videos in a while, so I'll probably do those, coming up. But I have been doing podcasts where I talk a lot more openly about, balanced lifestyles and things of that nature where I'm able to just be myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I don't have to focus so much on what I'm saying, whether somebody's going to take what I say and try to debunk it. They're going to call me a liar. They're going to, say that I'm just a grifter or whatever the hell they want to say. That's why I tried to go into a different approach, and I think for the most part, I've been able to sustain that pretty well.
Hey, do you want to say something that's a little kind of humorous? Wait, let
Skid marks.
me show you this one again, or show you this one instead. This one is the one I did a while back. If you're familiar with Pulp Fiction,
Yeah, yeah. Quentin Tarantino.
yeah.
Wow, that's hilarious.
But yeah, the next time we get together, I can have my images and stuff that are of interest if I have them, a little more organized. We can.
Yeah, like I said, this was mostly a dry run to see how it went, and we've gone 3 hours and it didn't even feel like it.
We went 3 hours. Or wow.
Yeah, 2 hours and 57 minutes.
Oh, at least it's not like 3 a.m. I thought I'd look up and it was 3 a.m.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's easy to talk about. It's a lot of information. I mean, you can talk for days and days and days and days. But what I don't want to do, I don't want to get into the rehashing so much where we're just rehashing old material. We're what we did tonight is we took some material that people have seen, but we've given it a different spin. We focused on the kids, we focused on the interior of the house. We talked about the windows, we talked about different areas.
Right.
That 360 thing, I mean, walking through that house, like I didn't realize it until I took that tour, exactly how little that house was.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
many blind corners that house has. How easy it is to, like Bethany's staircase. I mean, I always thought if she was there, she may have crept up that staircase and looked around the corner and heard and seen everything.
Right. What do
I
you
mean,
think? Do you think she truly has exculpatory evidence, or is that
I
something
was
that?
listening to another channel, and I really take their information with a grain of salt, but people were kind of convinced that she wasn't there until 8 in the morning. And if she wasn't there till 8 in the morning, that is the evidence. How can she say anything about the crime if she wasn't there?
Right.
Or maybe Dylan wasn't there and she knew Dylan wasn't there. And, that could be the exculpatory evidence. Because in a criminal case, everything's exculpatory. You just have to put it in a way that benefits the person on trial that's being accused of whatever they're accused of. You can paint anything as an exculpatory evidence to get you freed, if it goes in your favor. So if she said, well, Dylan lied, she wasn't even here.
Mm,
She texted me from
right.
this
Right.
party, and well, how can she claim she saw a bushy eyebrow dude if she wasn't even there? And here's the text message proving that she wasn't there.
Right.
You
That's a
go,
good point. So she might not have something herself, but she has the ability to discredit, what the prosecution is going on.
exactly.
Hadn't thought about it.
Because like they said, it's unique to her. So it would be something that only she's able to bring to the table. It's like, well, she wasn't here. She texted me from a party, or she went to go get something to drink at the grocery store or whatever. You know what I mean? She wasn't even here. She showed up later or whatever, anything like that.
Right. Right. Yeah. I'm going through these photos just to see if there's anything quickly I could show you of interest that we've
Man, I
discussed.
wish the camera was that clear.
Oh, like the Linda Lane footage or one of the security cameras.
Oh yeah, can you imagine if one of the security cameras was that clear? You can see, look inside that house. You can see all the way through the kitchen.
Right. Oh, here's one that shows like I think would that demonstrates like the closeness of that light bulb camera to y- oh, I better Nanook. We should probably wrap it up and I'll take Nanook out to go outside. He's saying, "Can I
Yeah,
go
go do.
outside?"
I'll look at this. I'll look at this. Take him out. Do what you need to do.
Yeah,
We just got
okay.
a couple
Yeah.
more minutes.
Okay. All right, do that.
I'll talk to Leon while you're gone. Hey, Leon, how you doing? And whoever else is in here, I can't see your names. Thank you for hanging tough with us and going through the scenarios that we've gone through, the pictures that we've kind of looked at a little differently and given our own insight on what we feel um, it is that we see and what could possibly have happened during certain areas. This is my first live that I've had somebody else on the panel, and I've really enjoyed it. I mean, I've really enjoyed it, and hopefully, we'll have more people in the chat next time that we do the live, because we're not about speculation on this channel. Even though we have discussed scenarios that could be a little off the charts, we're not trying to be so dramatic that we're having people, jump in from an airplane trying to do what they need to do or whatever. I mean, it's okay for you to believe what you want to believe. I'm not here to try to convince anybody that you're right, I'm wrong, you're wrong, I'm right. I'm not here to argue your point. I'm not here to argue what you've heard or what you believed or what you've researched. Hell, I'd like to learn from you because, as you heard me talk about earlier, I don't know everything about this case. I have a life outside of YouTube. So, most of the time, what I am privileged to is, I take a little time to do a little bit of research and try to make everything make sense before I present it, rather than it just being my own speculatory conspiracy theories. Leon, the last message I see, you said no defense jumping on anything. They have no case, so got to pick up at the statements. Yeah, I mean, it's really based on what we know. It seemed very fragile. It seems like they don't have the information they need in order to get him where he needs to be, wherever that is. Um, it says you said Brian's medical records will explain a lot when cases at court, I think. Are you thinking maybe his medical records, um, like his eyesight, or are you thinking mental side? Are you thinking about maybe having depression, anxiety, that avenue, or are you thinking inability to be a healthy person? Can you explain that a little further? Because I know based on when individuals use drugs for a long period of time, it changes their physiological parts of their body, their brain, their functioning. So I mean, it could be some of that going on, but I'm not quite sure what you're meaning. If you could explain that a little further. This is an interesting photo because it's like right around the corner. It's on King Road, it looks like. And you're looking up actually at that house that had the light bulb cam that that supposedly captured the last moments of somebody's life, the dog barking and a thud. And that was the camera that supposedly caught the last of the night events.
Here's also the I can show you the actual light bulb camera itself on there.
While I'm pulling that up, I was talking to Leon, and she said that Brian's medical records will explain a lot when case at court, she thinks. And I was asking her if it was his medical or his mental health, and she said no, his mental health in teen years, I think. I agree with that. I agree that that probably plays a lot. I mean, we don't know if he's schizophrenic, if if he hears voices, if he has auditory hallucinations. I mean, we don't know any of that. Or
Right.
if he ever had that. Maybe that's part of the reason he used drugs. Maybe drugs created that as an onset once he got off of it. I think that's a very strong point, Leon. I really do. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think as they try to understand what because I mean, right now it sure seems like people are split. I mean, there's some that look at him and say, you look at his eyes, and it seems like I believe just if you're just gauging on looks, that yeah, he looks like the type of. But then there's others that are like, they I think they really feel like, no, this is completely the wrong guy. I mean, I try to keep an open mind best I can to see it from both ways. I mean, like a mother is going to look at him and say, "Oh, this is my boy. He's
Yeah,
good
that's my
son.
little angel
Never
right
done
there. There's no way he hurt
little angel."
anybody.
So
Yeah, I remember seeing this photo, Jeff, and the first thing that caught my eye was that brunette. Look at that look on her face. It's almost like
right.
I can't believe they did it.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got her arms closed. She's very closed.
Very close off. Doesn't she look like holy shit they did it? Or
Yeah.
holy shit, that was what I heard last night. You get what I'm saying? She had that scared shitless look.
Well, too, and at this point, they haven't been caught. So yeah, I'm sure she's feeling very concerned for even her own safety. But yeah, maybe, oh man, those sounds that I heard the last night, maybe I should have done something. I should have called, or
Yeah,
just wasn't sure what I was hearing. It's a college town. Everybody's drinking and having a good time, and you don't know what the sounds are. Either people are making love, or they're being unalived. You
right.
don't know, or it's just a wrestling match, a fight. I don't know. I don't know what I'm hearing. But I think that's the thing. I really think if you're trying to figure out, like, I think I hear on the Linda Lane camera, I think I hear these awful noises that I'm very concerned about now. It's like, well, then you have to ask yourself, it's like that camera is much further away than the ears of Dylan and Bethany. And it's like, and that's why I think they're probably are so easily thrown under the bus, because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, they've heard these things because I heard them at around 2 a.m. on the Linda Lane footage.
Yeah.
But did you know? I didn't realize until just recently that the Linda Lane camera, above the Linda Lane camera, there's two levels of balconies. I thought it was just like, I didn't even know it was a balcony. I don't think at first, until somebody pointed it out. There's two levels of balconies. So your possibility of, that's more partiers. That's more partying. That's more. And if you got a your third floor on a balcony, and say you see a friend of yours across the parking lot, or from there, I think you can see down probably onto the band field up that high, and you see your friend out there, and you're like, hey, you're yelling at them, and little do you know that your yell at your friend, like, hey, what are you doing? That's going to be analyzed later by people that are like, that's them being unalived. It's like, I mean, I
That's
know I got
that's a
to.
great point. That's a great point, Jeff.
I think I'd emailed the guy who owns the Linda Lane camera and the footage, the landlord over there. I think I have in an email where he said that he felt strongly that there's no way that camera is picking up the sounds from that house 107 yards away by my calculations. Um,
I
you know,
mean, I have a camera, or I had at my duplex or my little condo. I had a camera on the outside, and it was a little smaller than the camera that they show.
yeah, this is the camera. I mean, not the actual camera, but this I believe it's a Reolink camera.
Yeah, it was like that, and it was out on the windowsill. It was out on the windowsill. Anytime that I looked at it, I never heard any kinds of screams, or I may have heard dogs barking, or I might have heard tires screeching, or from 2 blocks away or something. But I mean, 200 feet, that's quite a length, man.
Right.
And you gotta take into consideration also that all the acoustics, how those trees are gonna muffle that sound.
Right.
Leon says, we had murder in the next building. Nobody knew what happened for hours. We all had a theory, but never knew fatal stabbing happened till afternoon when the cops went around the doors. Wow. I mean, to be honest, how many people would honestly that be their first thought? Damn, somebody. I mean, I'm sure now, but before you'd be like, oh shit, somebody getting murdered next door.
Right. Well,
I bet.
the coroner was quoted in an article I just saw like yesterday, where she said, like, there had been so few homicides that it was kind of commonplace that they were quickly solved. And, and I think, who knows, maybe now this one is larger than I think that they're used to, but I'm sure they probably thought, oh, this should just go like all the rest, that we'll solve this really quickly. But it didn't turn out that way. This one's a tough one. Now, is it a tough one because the drunk frat guy who did this read a book on how to do it before he did it? Or is it, you know where I'm going with that? I mean, I try my best not to, because I think everybody feels I'm just convinced, that he's guilty. I would say, give him the firing squad right now. No, he deserves his day in court, and he'll have his day in court. And I do presume him innocent. He's presumed innocent. But just like, my friend's pit bull, if I look at the pit bull, I don't have much to go on. I'm going to presume that dog is safe. But I'm going to start to do a little research. I'm going to go on a live stream with 12 gauge. We're going to say, hey, what have you heard about this dog? We're going to talk about it. We're going to have discussion. And then I'm going to come to a determination. Do I go reach my hand out and pet that dog or not? And
well, exactly. I mean, everybody has due process. That's part of our rights as Americans to have due process, meaning that the government has to show substantial evidence that goes against us losing that right, and that's basically the simplest point that people forget is we have that right, and he has that right. Everybody that's in jail has that right until you're proven guilty without beyond a reasonable doubt. And that, I mean, for people to be saying, well, even some of these other murders where they catch them in the act or they find out, hey, he confessed or whatever, he's still innocent until the jury says not guilty or guilty. You get what I'm saying? Without a reasonable doubt. That's why we have that due process. That's why we have the amendments to be able to not be tried by our peers instantly and be found guilty,
Don't you think too, I mean, is the prosecution, they're often accused of like holding back things from the defense. It seems to me that from the prosecution standpoint, you don't want to do more than you have to. You want to do what you're required to do. I mean, I would imagine if the prosecution just said, here's everything we got. Here's what we're thinking. Here's probably how we'll phrase our opening statements during the trial. Go here, have at it, have a copy. Steve Gonsalves would be like, what the heck are you guys doing? Come on. All the parents of the victims are like, you've lost your minds. So, I mean, I guess my question would be, are they doing, if they weren't doing what they were required to do, it sure seems like the judge would be really coming down hard on them, to saying, look, it's clear that you're trying to
stall.
You're stalling. You're trying to block the system from working the way it's supposed to work.
I heard early on, I mean, I'm talking about probably a couple days, a week. What if Dylan and Bethany, or what if Dylan wouldn't have been alive and she would have got murdered and Kaylee would have lived? Would people have been as hard on Kaylee as they've been on Dylan? I thought that was an interesting question because you get what I'm saying, right? If Dylan would have been one of the girls that was unalive or murdered, it would have been Dylan, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana instead of Kaylee. And Kaylee would have lived and would have been in the place of Dylan. Would people still be as hard on Kaylee as they have been on Dylan?
Well, what would have been the difference, though, in with the different treatment that Kaylee might get?
I don't know. I mean, because I think the way she's painted in the whole thing, and I'm not talking bad about her, but she's painted in a way that is totally the opposite of Dylan. I mean, Dylan's been called transgender. She's been, she's had a lot of negativity. She's a drug addict. She's dating a drug dealer. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
when
Yeah.
it comes to Kaylee's life, you don't hear any of that stuff, you know? It wasn't until those text messages that I even understood that Kaylee went and smoked some weed or got some weed from a place with her mom, at a weed place.
Hmm.
It wasn't until then that I even realized that she did any drugs or anything like that. So, I mean, if I just feel, and I'm not defending Dylan by no means, I'm just saying that to be hypothetical, would it be different had it been Kaylee that lived and Dylan died? Would people be as sympathetic to Dylan as they're being against her since she lived? You know what I mean? Like Kaylee would have seen the bushy eyebrows and this and that, but she didn't call 911 for 8 hours later. Would they have been all over her as bad as they were Dylan?
Yeah, I
Because
don't
these are
know.
kids.
I
These
don't
are kids. These are kids. We can say what we want as adults. I'm a middle-aged man. I know I'm going to call 911. I've known I'm going to call 911 probably for 30 years. Would I have done it in my early 20s? Probably not. I was into some wild partying and stuff like that. I didn't want the cops around.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think people forget that.
I mean, I lean towards that they just did not know the severity of what happened in that house. I can't imagine, because we're looking for explanations for it, and I know it's just that when you look for the explanation and the explanation that you come up with is like, oh, they must be involved, or maybe they did it, they helped clean up.
Right.
And then these young people were able to sit there and talk to FBI agents and interrogators that do this professionally and be able to lie straight to them. And I mean, you saw like I watched the interrogation of I guess interrogation, I don't know if that's the right word, but the detective talking with Jodi Arias
Yeah.
after she was arrested. And I mean, she was a good liar. She's a very good liar. And you could tell that he was getting very frustrated with her. But I just don't see them being able to because the assumption is that they've never done this before. And the assumption is that one of them is going to slip up and their stories are not gonna mesh. So I don't know. And again, it gets back to my thought that 8 hours is the amount of time an average person sleeps. So okay, when you say it was 8 hours before they called, that's where my mind's first going to go. Or 8 hours is the average work day. Maybe they went to work. Did they go to work for 8 hours? No. So it wasn't that. Were they cleaning up a crime scene for 8 hours? I just don't know. Is this a result of angry drunk frat guys that what were they fighting over? The fight was regarding, I guess, Xana and some other guy.
Well, they supposedly walked in on those two guys being intimate. And then one of the guys was into Xana and she wasn't having it, she wasn't feeling him. So Ethan made a comment about steroid use and having shriveled up little walnuts. And that supposedly started the whole thing. But I don't see how, if you had that much anger toward one person, that wouldn't have been your first confrontation with them. And you surely wouldn't have waited until that night when everybody saw you almost fighting at the frat place to go and kill them. That's just saying, hey, I did it.
Right.
I took it from the frat house and I went in and I killed them all.
Right.
I was just on on a rampage. I couldn't stop myself. Roid rage is real, but it's not killer rage. It's not the same thing, I would not think. I mean, can people kill on roid rage? Of course. But does that make you a killer? I'd be I'd have to probably say no.
Right.
Leon says we should be thanking God for Dylan. She puts him in home. We never knew there was a witness. That's why cops were so secretive. So culprit didn't find out there was a witness. Dylan is in protected person. What do you think?
Mm. Yeah, you know, yeah, yeah, without Dylan and her kind of eyewitness testimony of seeing, yeah, what would we have? We'd have
The knife sheath.
yeah, and yeah, how critical was it that her description of the bushy eyebrows caused them to connect dots that led to BK? Part of me wonders if they bring that woman that pulled Brian over for, and he was talking about crosswalks and things that they didn't have in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
If that officer um, remembered her encounter, because it was like 30 days or less from the time of the murders. Would you remember, like in a small town of Idaho, and you know they're on the lookout for a white Elantra? Would you remember pulling over a guy 30 days ago in a white Elantra, bushy eyebrows, that you might remember that conversation? He made you look up. He didn't make her, but she looked up
Right.
the code for crosswalks and the rules. Would she remember it was an Elantra too? Because when she was talking to the dispatcher accidentally said Sonata
Sonata, yeah.
instead of Elantra, and she corrected the dispatcher saying no, it should be an Elantra. And of course, a lot of people jumped on that and said, "Oh, there's stuff going on with the police. They setting them up. They changed the documents to say Elantra." But I'm almost certain what happened was that the dispatcher saw Elantra, and then next to it in the registration form, sedan is often abbreviated SDN, sedan. So Elantra, she thought it was SON. So it's a Hyundai Sonata.
Sonata, yeah.
And because she saw the SDN, thought it was SON. So that's what I think happened.
Well, yeah, I'm with you on that because they take notes on everything they do, every traffic stop, every encounter, of call that they go out on. They ask you certain specific questions. I mean, they take how tall are you, how much do you weigh, you know, even as a witness, they're just doing an interview. So I interviewed 12 gauge. She's, 5'11, blah, 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 blah. So next time, so in 30 days, you hear of, oh, well, we're looking for a bushy eyebrow dude, 5'11 or taller, not muscular. Oh, I pulled over a guy that kind of let me give you a little bit of information on what I got. Do you have his driver's
Right.
license? Oh yeah, I do. I do right here. Okay, let's run his driver's license. Oh, look at this picture. Let's 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 look into him a little bit. Then the guy from WSU, people talk, cops talk. So I'm sure they're friends. They
Mhm.
said, "Hey man, be on the lookout for this car. We're looking for a white Elantra, blah blah blah. This guy has bushy eyebrows." If he applied for the police department, don't you think they'd have a copy of his ID?
Right.
Look at all the applicants recently. Look at, the Elantras we have on campus. You're riding around because unless it's a fast night for you, you don't have shit else to do.
Right.
You
And I
know?
think it's human nature, just like the woman at the gas station that found that footage of the white car driving by. I think it's human nature to be like, oh, I'll do what I can to help. I'm gonna, and as an officer, I'm sure you just, when something like this is going down, you're like, okay, I'm gonna because it could be. It's often it's like it's right behind you. It's like, oh, there it is. There, that's what they're looking for. It's right here. Oh my gosh, I got to call. I got to call this in. See something. Say something.
Where it gets really dangerous for people to get tunnel vision. And that's what I hoped it didn't happen. I hope it didn't happen that they got tunnel vision. They got him right off the bat. Everything flowed too easily for him. And it just, I mean, either they got the information they needed, they did proper investigation, they got the evidence. It said in those text messages, and I keep referring to those because Steve dropped some hints in there that are very specific. They said they would have never caught BK if it wasn't for the informant. So they have a protected informant
Hmm.
that took them to BK.
Oh,
So, and he also said that there's some other things that went on that hasn't even been released yet.
Hmm.
Do you remember early on when that police officer was interviewed by, I think it was Brian Enton or maybe somebody else from News Nation, and it was some random police officer, and they interviewed him out front of the police station, and he said, "Well, this is a wild one indeed, but wait until you hear all the specifics. It's going to blow your mind."
Hmm.
He said word for word, just like that. And that was a big deal. Like they kept replaying that.
Hmm.
I went to look for that the other day. I cannot find anything. That could never happen.
Huh.
It's like freaking Mandela effect. You think something happened and it really didn't happen. It's like,
Right. Right. Yeah. I've kind of learned. I'm kind of almost always filling up my hard drive with this. I might need this later. This I'm gonna forget. I need this. I've got like a folder in my web browser that's labeled Idaho 4 quick. These are
yeah,
like the quick things that often come up. But
yeah.
the thing is like I end up throwing way too much in there, and it's so hard to find what I'm looking for.
I really wish that I would have screenshotted, all this stuff. I would have saved a lot of it because I read so much and saw so much in the very beginning. And they say that usually at the beginning of a crime, that's when you get the most truthful information. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But everybody's so quick to want to say, that's so freaking outlandish. There's no way that that could have happened. But look
Well, what's
how,
great. Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what's great is to be able to go back. A lot of these YouTubers have their shows, their live shows that they did during as it was fresh and as it was starting. And there's a lot of times I like to go way back to like, just the days after as it was really starting to, you know, as people were really starting to get very interested and, in this case. That white Elantra that was wrecked in Oregon. Um, well, I still do. I'm still friends with them, but there's a YouTube channel called Mommy Ramblings Blog, and they're great people over there. Carolyn and Scooter and all them, great people. And I was they let me be on a live with them, and we were talking about Idaho. And at the time, these photographs of the wrecked Elantra were going around, and somehow I saw the name of the person who was taking the video of the wrecked Elantra. And I thought, let me try and message them. Somehow I messaged them on Facebook while we were live, and then they messaged us back, and they came on the show and started talking about the wrecked Elantra and the photos they took, and then offered to hop in their car right then and there and go down to where the car is, and it's still up online. You can go check it out. She drove down there, drove kind of past the car, and said, "That's the car." At the time, I was thinking maybe they're messing with us. Maybe they're messing with the
Right,
public,
right.
and this is a fake car, and this might be even footage from like a year ago. We don't know. We can't tell when this was taken. So I remember when she was in the car, I asked her. I said, "Hey, look, just to make sure that what we're seeing right now on our screen, the video, isn't just some video you're playing. Can you point the camera at yourself and hold up 3 fingers? Because I figured there's no way they would know to do that a
Right,
year ago,
right.
right? So she pointed the camera, held up 3 fingers, and I was like, okay, this is legit. And yeah, she walked out. She walked out to that car in the middle of the night. It must have been like midnight. And I was worried because I thought she's going to get attacked out here while live on YouTube.
Right,
And the
right.
thing is, she parked like 2 blocks away. And I was like, why did you park so far away? And she's like, well, I didn't want to get like the police to come out here. And I was like, well, the police need to be out here. This might be the car. You know, they really ought to be here.
Right.
And
Man, that'd be awesome if you could find that. We could
yeah.
definitely show that on the next live, man. That'd be something to see.
Yeah. I'll mention it to them because I'm sure they would
All
be
right.
fine. They would be fine with that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that was
it's you're right. Every little piece that happened, it was like, oh, this is it. But like I talk about all the time, if it doesn't have teeth that can continue to bite and stick, it just hypothesis, you know?
right.
Because I hear a lot of people talk theory. A theory is not conspiracy, it's not an opinion. A theory has the ability to go from one place to the evidence. The end result is the evidence. You have the ability to build all the way to the evidence that convicts the person, that places the person there, where you can put the evidence plus the person, and there's no reasonable doubt, there's probable cause that more often than not, this happened.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times what we have is this plus this plus this plus this could be this, and it could be this, could be, there's no room for it in the criminal law. There's no such thing as could be.
Right.
People get into that CSI, Law and Order, all that TV stuff where they can use circumstantial evidence to convict somebody. You can convict somebody with circumstantial evidence, but there's still something there in the evidence locker that give people the rendition that they're more than likely this person did it.
Right. Do you think the fact that they're pursuing the death penalty, does that say to you they're confident that
I would say so, because that's a ballsy move. I mean, either they did it because they do have a solid case, or they were doing it in hope that he would plea for life sentence and they'd get what happened from him if he's the one. Where they mess up, if he's not the one and he's not going to plea and he takes it all the way, and my fear is if he's not the one, there's no way in hell they're going to continue this investigation once this trial is over.
right.
They're not going to have the manpower. They're not going to have the money. They're not, it's going to be difficult for them to really find out who the real perpetrators were, unless, somebody starts talking.
Right.
I really wish they'd ungag this case. I mean, they couldn't even give us the 911 tape. What's on that tape that is too sensitive for the public to hear?
Now, is it the kind of thing where if you to release too much stuff would make those that might come in as witnesses, take the stand, would make these people feel unsafe, and they would just they wouldn't want to be part of it. They wouldn't want to, is that kind of the purpose sometimes of a gag order, that if you're a witness and you're scared to come up and testify, but you're promised, like, look, your name will not go out there, you will not be doxxed, there's a gag order, you won't, nothing's going to happen like that. I mean, it's like and if they're promising it, I hope they're not promising it the day, like, look, you haven't seen any security camera footage of any cars or anything, have you? It's like, and then I'm sure that comes out and they're like, I don't believe them anymore,
Hey, that reminds me of a meme that I saw one time on Facebook. It had this policeman interviewing this lady, and he says, "Yes, you're protected or whatever. Nobody's going to know who you are." And on the first one, her face is covered up, right? And on the second one, her face is uncovered, but he's talking to a reporter, and her face is right there, and she's like this.
Right. That's similar to, like, you ever watch Benny Hill?
No.
Benny Hill is like a British comedian, but it was like a TV show with two chairs, and one chair is in the dark, and the other chair has a light on it. And they go to the TV studio, and the guy says, "I'm here with interviewing, so and so. He's being protected. He's in the witness protection program." And then he stops and he says, "Oh wait, I think you're sitting in my chair," because he was in the one with the light on it.
Yeah, that would definitely not be a good thing in this situation.
Yeah, I
But
just
yeah,
found a
I
really
mean, I
cool
think
picture. I don't even remember seeing here. This is
yeah.
directly a shot taken directly from above the house.
Let me check that out.
I don't even remember taking a look at this one. This one really gives you a good glimpse of the back parking lot,
Yeah.
the side road cut through.
See, supposedly, I remember watching, I think, Dago early on,
Uh-huh.
and there was this lady that was talking about having a camera. Do you see where my mouse is?
No, I don't think
Okay.
it. Oh, wait. No, that's my mouse.
Okay.
You can tell
Well,
me where to put my mouse.
look at 11, 12, and then there's that middle apartment building, and then there's the one with the white roof.
Oh, okay.
Supposedly, there's a camera in that window
Hmm.
or in that back door because that's that house where they broke into that girl's car
Oh,
and put
right.
her.
Because they were talking about her. She was saying she was going to get a camera.
Yeah, and supposedly she got a camera, so that camera would have been able to see back here.
Maybe that's the camera that Steve Gonsalves is referring to.
Yeah,
Actually, I just saw not too long ago when I was looking through these photos, I saw a photo of Kaylee, and the girl I think that lives in that house posing like on the front of that house with Jack D's house in the background.
yes, yes.
Um,
And see, that's what those messages say. If you haven't read them, they're under character analysis. She
right.
has all those messages on there. And one of the messages says that Jack saw the camera where, or Steve saw the camera. I'm getting tired. Steve saw the camera where it showed Jack going in the house. So whatever camera he saw,
Here's
he's
another
able to,
view.
he saw Jack going into his own house. So, that debunks any theory that he was out and about and he was, all this and that and the other. I mean, he gives a lot of information that he supposedly got from the grand jury, as stated in those text messages. I'm not saying this. This is what's shown on the text messages. You know what I mean?
Right. So check out that picture I just put up there. That's a slightly different angle, but it does show that house with the where we think the camera. Um,
Yeah, that almost would shine into the back door.
yeah, I don't know if
I
it's
mean, I think
a camera.
she said that she lived right here in that door, like where your mouth is, goes straight down. See
Uh-huh.
that door right there?
Oh, down here.
Yeah, I think that door right there is the one with the camera.
Okay.
So that would be aimed right in the back.
Let me see if the other angle showed.
Leon has a question for you, Jeff.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
This is Jeff. What's your opinion in clothes all dark or black taken from his parents? But what about the gray jacket and the hat? Wonder what they took those for.
Hmm.
I think she's asking, what's your opinion on the black clothing they took, or all the dark clothing from his
Right.
pants that they took, and what would have been the significance
I don't
of
know.
it?
I mean, could it be that they chose some clothing to take that they thought might, like, maybe certain clothes will keep hair in, or like a hat would keep grab some of your hair, or would absorb um certain stuff, whereas other materials might just fall right off.
You know, Jeff made a great point right there. What if the clothing that they took did have strand of hair or any fibers that could have been picked up while in the house? Because forensic is a deeper level investigation than just DNA. Most people think DNA is a conviction. Without DNA, you're not going to get a conviction. Well, they found fibers or hairs or any kind of sweat glands, release some sweat that is mixed in with blood that transferred to any part of any of the clothing. You just never know. We're almost done here, folks.
So I
Yeah,
don't know. I wonder if maybe it's not so much about the color, but maybe the material itself. But isn't it interesting though? They say he had like a tag and a receipt for Dickies coveralls,
yes.
but no coveralls. So that's the fact that you found a tag says to me that they were purchased recently. 'Cause I mean, how long do you hold on to a tag for a piece of clothing? Um, and then to not be able to, like, come up with that piece of clothing, it seems a little suspicious.
I believe that if they messed up in any area, and this is just speculation, a month is a long time to get any evidence off of him,
Hmm.
clothing, unless he just saved stuff for trophy value. But I'm talking about the car, unless he really slipped up and didn't clean the car as well, stuff like that. But a month is a long time to try to get evidence to convict somebody as far as DNA and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So you had to go on what you had before that month was involved.
Right. It would seem that if the person who did this has put a lot of thought into it prior to, and yeah, giving them a month to make sure that there's no remnants of anything. Um, oh, you know what? I think I found another shot of that house.
Okay. I'm gonna go till 12:30, and then I'm gonna cut her down because I gotta work in the morning.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
And I think that'll put us at 4 hours.
Wow.
I see all these other people going 4 and 5 hours. I'm like, what do they talk about for 4 or 5 hours?
Right, right. I think isn't there a cutoff time of, like, how long your YouTube video can be? I think there is a max. I'm
I
not
don't
sure
know.
what it is. I think,
Melissa went 7 hours the other night, so I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah, that is a good view right there. All those houses are so close together. I'm sure somebody. I mean, there could have been people standing outside just filming random crap that got noises, or happened to see a car drive by and something that they were filming something else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everybody's on their phone filming or taking pictures or taking selfies or whatever. I mean,
And that's definitely the house where the girl's car got broken into, right? Because it's not this
yeah.
one.
No, that house, the one in the middle is I think that's where Hunter, not the brother, but the other one.
Oh, I see. The friend hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, the friend hunter.
And of course, this was like a topic of conversation for quite a while. That
Oh
red
yeah.
spot.
Yeah, that was blood right there.
I mean, I really think I think that's just. I have a feeling this is probably on slight kind of a slope. Maybe the water collects more down here and then
It looks like
discards.
leaves and snow and
Yeah. And then up here, I always found it interesting. So this window is in Maddie's room. No, it's just the bathroom. This is the bathroom window, the hallway window, and then Kaylee's got this window here.
right. On our next live, I'll show you the inside of the house again. They put a breakaway window or a breakaway thing right there. That's where that little cutout that you were talking about.
Oh, is that like kind of right in this area under this
Yeah,
window?
like right under this window, there's a cutout.
Do
When
you think
the
there was a little crawl space to go into storage that was up under this roof?
Well, I'm thinking that in case of a fire, you could break through the sheetrock and crawl out there and probably go through
Huh.
the through the attic or something. I don't know. That's where they stored their drugs. Didn't you know that?
Oh, I was thinking along the same lines. I was going to say other YouTube channels will say this is where Scott Green, the president of the university, when he lived here, that's where he put his porn collection was up in there.
Yeah, that's where all the hookers hid out at.
Yeah, yeah.
He could have stored his honey buns and ho hos and whatever in there for all you know.
I heard somebody saying that the police, when they came here for the noise complaints, were trespassing by going up into the back here, but I was trying to figure out if this because directly across the street is those stairs that go down, go to the
Right.
infield. I was trying to figure out if this is in some way along this fence isn't like a public pathway to whatever is back here and up.
It does look that way on that angle, right?
Very insightful, Jeff, because there are some stairs at the very top of that hill. You can't see them from that angle, but there are stairs that lead up to Walenta. And I guess that's purposely done so that if you live up there, you can walk down and cut through the neighborhoods and get to the university instead of walking all the way around. Good catch.
Right there. It looks like those trees have a little cutout right there,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
a
I
little
don't
path.
know.
Because I'm certain those students use paths to get to the university if they're walking through there or whatever. It's hard as hell to see anything now on Google Earth. They they totally made it where you can't look at anything in there.
Here's a good photo that shows like I think what will give you an idea of the brightness of that good vibes sign at night.
Okay.
Kind of gives you a sense, as he's coming around, this light is in the face. Most people look at this and they focus on this handprint, but I couldn't help but look at it and get a sense of like the brightness of that light in that room at night.
Yeah, there were so many selfies taken right here. I'm sure this is the bedroom, or not the bedroom. This is the living room.
Oh yeah, here's a
Window.
selfie. You said selfie and 3 pictures as I clicked. This was what I got.
Remember, there was always somebody standing out of that living room window. There's always somebody. Yeah, there you go. See, there's people in Xana's room right here. A guy's in Xana's room, and there's a girl. So what did they just finish doing?
Yeah. Hey, here's a good photo just to have it on your live stream because it'll show the file name if we ever need to get back to it.
Okay.
This is all the Elantra years from 2011 to 2015, and
Oh wow.
the differences. it showing all of them? Well, yeah.
See, I wanted to do a stream on the Elantra on the one that they found at the gas station because it looks like none of these cars from the front. It could maybe be this one. I know you can't see. It would be the second one on the first row, the 2011.
Uh-huh.
That looks about the closest one because of the little fog light area, or maybe the one next to it, the 2012.
Right.
The one in that Exxon video or whatever, the fog light hardly have any cutout right there.
You see, I think I have that photo handy. Actually, if I present it this way, I don't know how to get groups of photos in one thing where I could just switch between them. I have to stop sharing and then jump back.
Well, Leon, I hope you haven't thought that we've spread lies tonight, because we've really just been talking about what we know, what we've heard, what we've seen. I mean, we've actually pulled up some evidence, photos and stuff, and we've really given our own interpretation. I know you weren't talking about us, you know. She said, "Did you see the idiot do the car videos all hating Jeff because he's the only one who has a clue?"
Thanks, Lee. I appreciate that.
Man, y'all need to quit switching money behind the scenes there.
Yeah, send me an invoice, Leon. It's like actually, I the other day I heard my name mentioned on Get a Clue. So actually, that's funny that you said that I have a clue. It's so funny too, because I was literally I dozed back off to sleep. I was going to hit the snooze or something, I guess, but I'd left the Get a Clue video playing, and next thing I know, I'm waking up to hearing my name mentioned. I was like, "What is going on?" I thought I was dreaming.
I heard your name on Chaos Sector too the other day.
Yeah.
See how that car doesn't have much of a floodlight cutout in the front?
Okay, I'm going to pause it and actually stop it right here, because we've gone over this in another video that I was doing earlier. And all we really do is just talk about the white Elantra and the gas station. So we really don't give any new insight, because I've already done a white Elantra video the other day, and we kind of go over the same type of information. So no need in rehashing the conversation. I hope you guys really enjoyed this presentation. I know it's kind of long, so if you hung in there the whole 2 hours, thank you so much. Maestro, cue that music.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I need you to listen, I need you to hear.
It's always interesting to look back in time at what you thought, what you believed, and what kind of evidence was out at the time, and how different your mindset goes along the way. Current to date, there's 12 new documents that were dropped yesterday, and there are rumors that a change of venue is coming. So I don't know how true the change of venue one is, but I will definitely keep you informed. Y'all have a beautiful weekend. Have a beautiful night. And one more thing. Can you dig it, man? Can you dig it? I can dig it.